Hello, everybody, and welcome to the KB on the Beat podcast. We are your hosts,
Ben Wilbers
and Keaton Brightwell. And today, along with our main subject of ranking most Marvel projects, we're leaving out most of the TV shows and the original Fox and Sony, not the Sony stuff, but all the Fox stuff.
Pretty much everything that's in the sacred timeline.
Yeah. So we're counting Deadpool, the full original MCU, and the old Spider-Man movies. Because those are technically there. Yeah. But along with that, we are introducing a new segment, a song of the however much time goes in between each podcast episode. Because our schedule isn't even a schedule.
It's not a schedule.
It's random.
It's kind of whatever, you know?
But that's my song is Defying Gravity from Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Wicked. We
watched Wicked.
We watched Wicked for the first time last night, and I absolutely loved it.
It was a really good movie.
And so, yeah.
I've got a lot of connections with that movie as well. I played a lot of the soundtrack with my college's Wind Symphony my freshman year, which was super fun. We played Defying Gravity. Unfortunately, we didn't have a piccolo solo at the high note section. We did not do that. But still, it was a great time. Anyways, my song of whatever we're doing now, my song it's going to be St. Patrick by Central C. Because it's just been playing a lot on my playlist. And that album is not a bad album. Can't Rush Greatness, it's not bad. Definitely not Central C's best work, but it's still good nonetheless. And that was definitely one of the better tracks on there. While I'm on this topic real quick, just gonna pop on here. Depending on when this releases, for sure my song First and Last is out now, streaming on all platforms, so be sure you check it out. But depending on when this comes out, I'll have my song Who I Want to Be featuring Pathos the Ghost releasing on the 26th. So if it comes out after that, it'll be on streaming services. If not, maybe just wait like a day or two. But yeah, just want to let you guys know, you guys should definitely stream that. Pathos is a really good rapper. Highly recommend listening to his music. So yeah.
Shameless plug.
But that's everything I gotta say. You got anything?
I don't think so. Just remember, these are our opinions.
So don't flame us in the comments if Morbius doesn't get an S tier.
I tend to be a little more lenient with my movies. If they can entertain me, I'll be happy. Even if it's artificial entertainment.
Yeah, like if it's
a bad movie, I'll call it bad and I'll give it a fair ranking. But if it entertains me, I'll be a little more lenient. Instead of saying F tier, I'll say D tier.
I like fun bad movies, so if it's bad but it's fun to watch, I won't typically think it's trash. But some movies our rankings will definitely make you mad.
Also, this is going to be horribly out of order. We do have a list here, and we will be placing them on a tier list. And
I could share it on a post.
We'll share it on a post. But
yeah. All right, let's get to it.
And this is horribly out of order. Did I already say that?
Yeah, but it's horribly out of order.
It's horrible.
So our first one is Spider-Man 2.
That's Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, that's Spider-Man 2.
That is Spider-Man 2, the original.
The original with Tobey Maguire.
Got bit by a spider.
But me? Must have got bit by a goat.
Okay.
If you want space, I hope you take your helmet off soon as you get out to Venus and choke.
Anyways.
This is definitely an S tier.
This is S tier.
Yeah.
This is the one with Doc Ock?
Yeah,
Wait,
Dr. Octopus.
Is this? Because I thought the Spider-Man 2 one had Dr. Octopus's tentacles all up in there.
That is No Way Home.
That is No Way Home.
Yeah.
Yep, you are correct.
But
yep, because that's okay. Yeah. So Spider-Man 2,
definitely an S tier. I love the way that they executed losing Peter Parker's powers. That was really.
The entire trilogy was just incredible. The third one was the weakest,
definitely
by far. But I still have fun with it. I think it's kind of fun.
It's a fun.
But
we'll
anyways,
get to that later,
the second one, just
peak.
The way they make the characters feel. And still, the memes, even. Starting off, the Butterfingers, it's been featured in everything. Indie games like the Henry Stickmin collection, if you've ever gotten into the Henry Stickmin games, There is there's two references to this movie in it. With the Butterfingers, whenever he drops Aunt May, like, off the side of the building. Two references. Two.
That was really fun.
So, this movie is already timeless.
I mean, so many people are praising this as one of the best superhero movies, up there with Logan, the original Avengers. We'll get to that ranking in a second. And, like, Batman, The Dark Knight. I forgot which Batman movie.
We're switching teams. We're going to DC.
Going to DC now. But, like, it is a timeless classic, and it's because of the writing. It's because of the character development, and Peter Parker essentially, like, having his powers and then essentially starting from zero to, like, sort of make himself a better person and a better Spider-Man that people want him to be.
And it also does continue the horrible tragedy of his villains always dying.
Yeah.
At the end, with Doc Ock getting getting blown up with his collider.
The power of 1,000 suns. The palm of my hand.
Yeah, it is. It really goes. It really does carry along a good story, and the story is really what holds a movie together.
Mm-hmm.
And the story of these first three Spider-Man movies, especially the first and second ones, peak. Incredible.
Absolutely.
What else do you want to add to that?
Mary Jane's a bitch. I'm about to be honest. And
Kristen Dunst?
no,
right?
like the Mary Jane character. I like
Oh
the
no,
actor.
I mean Kristen Dunst. Is that the girl who plays her?
I think so.
She's hot.
She's hot, but Mary Jane is kind of an asshole. Especially, you can see it a lot in the third movie. But throughout this whole trilogy, she's kind of an asshole.
She's horrible.
And the second movie really establishes that as well.
Yes.
Harry's not bad either. I think
Harry isn't bad in the first or second one.
first or second one. Third one's where he gets a little iffy, but
A little iffy tries to kill him.
yeah. But his character was really good.
Yeah.
Really well written, as with most.
All right.
That's that. And our next one is The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Like I
don't
said,
think I've
this
seen
goes
this.
up. I've seen
the
it.
I've seen the ending.
I've seen it, and I will say it's the weakest Spider-Man movie for me. Even including the Tom Holland trilogy, it is the weakest one to me. But the only reason I even put this on there was because I've seen it. I would have to put it in B tier. It's fun, it's good, but there is too much going on in this movie.
Yeah.
It's fun. Some of the scenes are fun, but it's also nowhere near as good as The Amazing Spider-Man 1, the original one, which was incredible. It doesn't live up to the original. And I also think Electro is not done as good as as well as he could have been.
It could have been done so much better, both in character and design.
Because even like the ending with him, if you've seen the ending, I'm assuming that means you've seen like all of the ending Electro stuff, to the very end of the movie.
Yeah.
Could have been done a lot better, but I mean, I say we move on from this one
We got
we have another S tier coming up, and there's no debate.
Iron Man.
The original, the first
original
Iron Man,
Iron
2008, S tier.
See, I would put it in S tier because it is the
no.
movie that started it all.
Oh no.
But like, actually no, I take that back. This is definitely an S tier movie. Throwing that out there.
Okay.
We have given some great ratings so far.
I thought you were going to discuss the whole, like, I'd say the weakest part of the movie is the villain. I think...
Yeah, he's definitely a weak villain, but then again...
He's not necessarily a weak villain. He's just a villain who doesn't... He really... Especially with the stakes of some of the other villains. He's just... He starts the trend of villains who are trying to do bad things because of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Let's see, I think there's 12 of them.
I think there's 12 of them, yeah.
We'll count up at the end of this how many have just scorn for Tony Stark.
We got him so far. Ironmonger. Honestly, I think that, to be fair, with kind of what you're saying, Marvel didn't start making movies with their most popular characters because they could. They didn't make a Spider-Man movie to start the universe. They didn't make a Hulk movie to start the universe. They didn't even use the X-Men movies to start the universe. They took a chance, both with Iron Man and with Robert Downey Jr.
And RDJ,
Because Robert Downey Jr. was really... he was on some stuff at the time. Really bad things were going on with him. But they took a risk with him and also making him Iron Man, who at the time was a lesser-known Marvel character.
Yeah, he was a lot less popular than he is today.
Less popular. So starting off with that and getting to where we are now, it's crazy. And also you kind of, in a sense, need a villain that sort of matches his power, because you don't want to have him fight an alien off rip if you're just starting a universe.
Which is why I think Ironmonger is effective for what it is, but I feel like his transformation kind of comes out of nowhere for me. I guess there was some I will say this is thank you, phone. This is one of the movies that it has been the longest since I've seen it, and it's only been a year, because I watch these movies a lot. I feel like compared to other villains, he's not in even my top 10.
Yeah,
but
fair.
he is, and he just makes some stupid decisions. I mean, a little less stupid in him would have been nice, but I understand that he has to have a downfall.
He needs to have a downfall, yeah.
And of course, the improv throughout the movie is incredible.
Incredible, yeah.
RDJ sneaking snacks on set.
That's
The ending where he says, "I am Iron Man," that was not
Completely
scripted. That was
improv.
improv. And
little did he know what those
it would do.
4 words would do. Honestly.
it was incredible.
It's really
So-
cool. And not to mention, I think probably the second most iconic line from that movie. Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps!
Yeah.
It definitely deserves S tier.
The quotability, the incredible storytelling, the fact that Tony Stark grows as a character.
That's
the
one of my
character arc
favorite things about the
of
MCU.
going from a jerk who nobody likes because he's rude and he has a little too much ego
Too much
and a
ego,
lot of
too much
other too
pride.
many things, too many partners maybe.
Yeah.
He's a horrible person, but then he grows to become this person who helps people, even if it is for the fame. At some points he doesn't help people. So
And I think that's probably one of my main favorite things about the MCU is how they take a character that they started with and grow him gradually into a better being.
yeah.
And we can get into that later with Endgame, but let's move on to...
Have you seen this?
I've seen this.
I have not, so this one's gonna be all you, because I actually refuse to watch this. The Incredible Hulk from late 2008.
Late 2008. It's not bad, it's just forgettable. I feel like the way that they executed Hulk could have been better. I think they did Abomination horribly. Abomination was an abomination. It was not great, but the way that they sort of set up more Hulk movies was good, but it didn't happen because of licensing issues. But
Lots. And
Lots.
Edward Norton.
And Edward Norton, yeah.
That whole thing.
And-
Switching him out for Mark Ruffalo.
Which I think was a good decision.
Agreed.
But
Hot take.
yeah, it definitely needed to happen, but honestly, it's just forgettable. Somebody mentions this movie and you're like, what the hell, this exists? There's actually a Hulk movie? But the writing was okay. I remember that very vividly.
Yeah.
The CGI was really good though.
Yeah, I will say the one thing I do remember seeing was you see the fight. I've seen the fight between him and Abomination near the end of the movie, and it's incredible.
That's really good. That's one of the really
It
good
looks
parts of the
so
movie.
good. And that and the the CGI is incredible.
It's just incredible. So I think I'd honestly throw it in D. It's not it's not bad, but it's not good. But at the same time, there are things that sort of help
Much better.
make it to be a decent album.
And I will say,
good movie.
this has gone up in my opinion, even though I haven't seen it. I know this movie is what set up The Leader, which have you seen Brave New World?
I've seen Brave New World. That's definitely why it's not
for
in
sure.
F tier.
Because it does set up a later movie, even if it was 17 years later.
17 years later.
So, moving on to our next heavy hitter, immediate S tier, I would hope,
Yeah, that's fair to
The
say.
first Avengers movie, the original Avengers.
Understandable.
It's incredible. The Loki is a compelling villain.
Such a good villain.
Because we know, even from just the first Thor movie, we know he's cunning, he's smart, he knows what he is trying to get done. He is trying to conquer people, and he just wants to be loved. He's kind of pathetic.
Kind of pathetic.
But in a way that we can all love him, because we've now seen him grow and evolve.
Yes.
Which now, looking back at it, just makes his character even more incredible. But also, it was the start of Thanos. We saw him
That was so fucking
pulling the strings from the back, and at the time, I didn't know who Thanos was.
Me neither.
Obviously, I was like, well, this movie came out in what, 2011?
2012.
2012? I was 4.
I was like 6 or 7, depending on when it came out.
Exactly. So, I didn't know who Thanos was, but I was like, I watched it a couple years later and still didn't know who he was, but I was like, who is this guy pulling the strings?
How is this guy doing this? Like, it's crazy.
And it also has the greatest post-credits scene ever. Shawarma.
Shawarma, yeah.
This is the reason I want to try shawarma, this
Me
movie.
too.
I've never had it, and it's because you can't get it near
Where we're at. You can't get it at all.
You need to be in a big city because it's not a common dish where we're from, because like we live in such a weird area where like there's nothing.
There's
like,
nothing, but it also
interesting.
feels like there's everything at the same time. Like, it's a melting pot of cultures, quite literally, because we get so many different people from so many different areas, like, coming through here to
They're
get
just
to
passing.
places.
Exactly.
They're
They're
just
just passing
passing.
through. But no one stays to like make shawarma restaurants. Whereas
Right.
in New York or in big places you can get shawarma. But that was a weird tangent. Tangent of shawarma.
But anyways, my big thing with this movie is that I really like that they used characters that they already established as compared
Yes.
to adding new characters, which they do later on in the MCU.
It's weird.
It just gets super chaotic.
Yes.
Sticking with what they had and making that the Avengers, because the original Avengers from the comics is completely different from what we
Yeah.
have here to my
It was in the original Avengers. It was still Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Ant-Man, the original Ant-Man, not Scott Lang, Hank Pym, Hope Van Dyne, Wasp. Not Hope. No, the mom Wasp. I can't think of her name, but she died. She did in the MCU, and that's it. And then later on, Hawkeye, Black Widow, and Hulk. I think that might be wrong. Leave it in the comments if that's wrong, because I think it is.
Yeah, let us know. I want to say they added those 3 after this movie, but maybe even before.
But it shows how every single character in this movie we had seen before. And in each of their movies, there was a post-credit scene of them being recruited. In Iron Man 2, which we'll get to eventually, there was a recruitment thing throughout that entire movie, actually.
Yeah.
Captain America, the First Avenger, there's a recruitment scene at the end whenever he wakes up from his coma. Thor doesn't have a recruitment thing, but I feel like he was only here for...
He was only here because Loki was terrorizing Earth.
But then again, there was also the whole S.H.I.E.L.D. site being set up at the Hammer.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
S.H.I.E.L.D. being involved, having him there with Selvig being in this movie, a big part of it, he actually, like, was on their radar, so it makes sense that Thor was a part of it. Black Widow, obviously, was always working for S.H.I.E.L.D. and was in Iron Man 2. Questionable on how good that movie actually is, but we'll get there. And then Hawkeye, who was seen in Thor.
Yeah, Thor. Yep.
And then the Hulk, who had his own movie. But we hadn't seen much of since. It had this whole team-up thing where we all throw them together and they hate each other. They're on the helicarrier, they're fighting, they're dissing on each other, they're flaming each other, there's blueberries for some reason.
They did not like each other.
They did not like each other.
But they grew to start tolerating each other.
They learned to work together as a family rather than as a team who has to work together. They've seen what it does. Like, at the beginning, they work together because they have to. Captain America never would have worked with Black Widow and Tony before.
Not.
But then, the incident in the town square happened, and they were forced to work together. And then when they all got to know each other, things kind of went downhill when Thor arrived because he's a hothead.
Mm-hmm.
But they learned to love each other. And the family aspect that grows throughout this movie, and all of the character building, and it's heartfelt but action-packed at the same time, and it never feels too slow.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is really hard for a superhero movie to do.
It is.
Because the beginning has to have exposition,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't want to have too much, or it's boring.
Right.
Which is why I think this movie is so well done. It keeps it intense, whilst also having really good emotion, and one of the best stories that has been
100%.
told.
One of the most iconic stories, like just period, in cinema. Like there have been so many like things that have made references to it, or even like redone the story with their own characters, like The Simpsons. Like I'm not even
The
kidding.
Simpsons could like predict the future.
They can do
though.
anything.
They can do anything. And and there are those moments where you're just feeling, oh my gosh, this is it. Like after Hulk destroys the big Chitauri dragon thing. That's not what it's called. And then it's like the roundup thing where Iron Man comes down and Captain America gets his shield.
That was peak.
And Black Widow pretends her single Glock is gonna do something by reloading. Just
We don't.
sorry, Natasha. Sorry.
We love you, Scarlett
but
Johansson.
she actually did end up doing a lot in that movie, and
She was really important.
there's a reason she's in my heart, and it's
I love Scarlett Johansson.
she's
If
beautiful. If you ever see
watching
this,
I mean, just like hit my number, please. Hit me on
Instagram. Hit our Instagram. DM
I
us.
don't care
please.
about the age difference. Just
Please.
anyways.
I was just gonna mention having a good cup of coffee, but I mean,
No, I'm kidding.
okay.
All right.
Next up,
one.
Venom. Let there be carnage.
I haven't seen it.
I have.
All right.
I
Tell us about
really liked it, but it was too short. I think it was an hour and 15 minutes. It was short. It was too short for me. But the story, the characters are fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna straight up place it right now. I'm giving it a high B tier
Okay.
because it was good, but they could have done so much more.
I feel like that was a main issue with a lot of people. Also, I heard that Carnage wasn't executed as well.
They barely used him. And they did have the good backstory of Carnage and Scream and even some of the other symbiotes that we've seen. It did a good job, but it did not do enough.
Didn't do enough.
Should have done way more. And I feel like the characters were just underutilized, which neither of us have seen The Last Dance.
No, I forgot to watch it. I had been meaning to, I just forgot to.
So I don't know where it's gone since, but as it stands now, it's a mid to low B tier, actually.
Yeah.
Next, we're just gonna skip over the rest of that one. Another Spider-Man. We got
Far From
Spider-Man
Home.
Homecoming.
Oh, that's
this is
Homecoming.
Homecoming because you can see Tony in the
Oh,
comic.
yeah, that's
because he died eventually. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
What can we say about Spider-Man Homecoming?
This is another film where the main villain hates Tony Stark. And in consequence, the Avengers, because of his everything that he was going through.
But he also was doing it for his family.
It's a valid reason.
That's where I would also say that there are some good variations of the I hate Tony Stark train, where he's doing it because his family is struggling, because he's working a job as damage control or whatever. The wife is working and they have a teenage daughter. Like, they're struggling, and they live in New York.
Yeah.
They're struggling, and they're just trying to get through it. Whilst also, it's not an origin story.
It's not an
Because
origin
we saw Spider-Man in Civil War, and this is more of it's a coming-of-age film.
Yeah,
Where
I'd say that.
he thinks without the suit that he is nothing without the suit that Tony gave him, he says.
That is very true.
Because before he had that suit, he wasn't with the Avengers. He was
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
your friendly neighborhood Spider. He was stopping small crimes, saving
Small crimes,
people
yes.
from car crashes. Like, he was doing good things, but he wasn't doing it
like
out
in a big,
there.
like for not necessarily a big corporation, but like to an extent, not for like
Not for
not
mass
for
media.
mass media, just
And
for like
he's-
the goodness of his heart.
Good, just because he knows he needs to help people, because with great power comes great responsibility. And it's effective at where halfway through the movie, he gets the suit taken away because he messes up a lot.
Big time.
People get hurt. A boat gets split in half. Like,
That was crazy.
that was insane. And people somehow still say Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is stronger than him. He may have stopped a train. He held a boat together.
Did hold a boat.
And that was a big boat. Like, there were cars on it, I think. Big boat.
That's a ferry right there, like a ferry boat. That thing is big, so it's fair to say that
They're equal strength. We'll say equal.
equal strength.
But it's a coming of age story, and it's a very sinister story for the villain because like he's doing all this bad stuff, but Peter loves his daughter, is in love with his daughter. And it also does introduce the Zendaya MJ. Michelle Jones, which I think is an interesting take.
But yeah, it's a very interesting take, but they kind of have to.
I like it.
They kind of had to do it.
And I just remember thinking, this guy is going to kill his daughter's boyfriend.
Me too. Yeah. It really seemed like that.
It was such an interesting take on like the villain knows Spider-Man's identity because he found it out. Well, Spider-Man also knows the villain's identity, which they do a lot in Spider-Man movies. And they do it in very interesting ways in the MCU. Unlike the originals where it was like, they both just happen to figure out who it is because they're both geniuses.
Yeah.
They're both geniuses, but they figure it out based on other things rather than just like awkward entrances and stuff. And the trip to DC is iconic.
Super.
And the Washington Monument scene, iconic, all of that.
They really built a monument after that one scene from the MCU.
It was
Spider-Man movie.
It was very, very fun.
It was a really good movie.
And it's a fun movie where it doesn't have huge stakes. He's a gun runner. The main villain is a gun runner.
Yeah.
He's not going to destroy the planet. He's just a bad dude who just so happens to have extremely advanced alien tech. And it really shows that advanced tech needs to stay out of the wrong hands.
Right, yeah.
Which is why, ranking wise, there are problems to the movie. Like there's some scripting problems. I think Iron Man is ironically underused in it. Because he's on vacation for half the movie.
Yeah.
Come on. But he's at least a good addition. I'm glad he was there.
For sure, yeah.
I think there could have been a little more.
There could have been more.
What would you say? Because I know what I would say.
It's definitely not the weakest of the Spider-Man trilogy that we have so far. We'll get into that later. But I think it's really good. And I put it in A tier.
So would I. I did not think you would agree. A tier.
That's good.
I loved the movie, and Spider-Man is my favorite superhero of all time because unlike with Batman, the villains always seem fresh. Whereas with Batman, some of the villains don't. And they did that with the Vulture, where he's not an old man suffering from a spinal injury, so he turns to crime. He's trying to support his family. And just so happens to get sent to prison because of it, and Tom Holland is just a compelling hero. So I think he's really...
For sure.
Next, our first TV show? First TV show, Moon Knight. I loved Moon Knight. I thought the beginning was a little slow, and the folklore-ness was a little weird to me at first, because it dives a lot into mythology, Egyptian mythology, that at the time I did not understand. Because Egyptian mythology, I knew like Ra and...
That's all I know.
Yeah. But now I know about all of the other ones, and Khonshu and all the other gods of... and it really dives into the action of like also the alternate personalities and the like.
Yeah, they did that so
and
well.
They delved into which one? We'll close these.
Yeah, close that.
It delved into
Mark. Mark is the one.
Yeah. There's Mark. There's Mr. Knight, and then there's Moon Knight.
There's Moon Knight.
That's all in his head, and maybe one or two others.
And then there's Jake, who's introduced at the end, who's like a ruthless killer. And
it's crazy, and it really dives into the multiple personalities in a non disrespectful way.
Right. Yeah.
Where he is really just in desperate need of help. Like in the first episode, you see he shackles himself to his bed so he's not wandering around at night. and he's terrified of it, and he works a dead-end job at a museum or whatever.
I don't look at the other personality's name. I know it's Mr. Knight and Moon Knight, but like the actual names. I know the main one is Mark. Jake is introduced in like the very last episode, but who's the other one?
And while he does that, I'm just gonna keep talking about how they chose a great cast to represent this, and the weirdness worked because it also had some of the Stephen
Grant. Yep.
So there's Mark, Stephen, and Jake, and all three of them work together to form this weirdly violent but docile at the same time group who's just like, we'll mess you up. I'm either going to mess you up lethally, non-lethally,
Or in a comedic way.
Because I don't know what I'm doing. It's fun at the beginning, and then it turns into a real issue. The evolution of how much of an issue this was actually does help the show.
Yeah. I think...
Yeah.
I see a lot of people kind of complain about that one scene of the CGI.
With the sky?
Not with the sky, no, with the suit up. I think
I loved the suit up.
I love the suit up, but people were complaining about the CGI, that it was awful.
I didn't think it was all that bad, was it?
I don't think so, no. I think it was actually good. But people just look at a lot of the stuff that's coming out with Marvel. And
They
it's
just
like,
look at
it's
it negatively.
awful. But to be fair, during this era, they were focusing more on quantity than quality. So a lot of stuff,
which is horrible.
not good. But I thought the writing of this was really good. It really had me like on the edge of my seat, actually like wanting to watch it. And Moon Knight is actually one of my favorite characters because of like the multiple personalities.
Don't say Marvel Rivals.
It's not cause of Marvel Rivals. I main him in Marvel Rivals, but I love him for stuff outside of that. But they handle multiple personality disorder really well. He's a badass character. The memes of him and ketamine are so fucking funny. Dracula, I know you're in here. Where's my $13? Or something like that.
He owes him $5.
$5. Where's my $5? You fuck.
Yeah, exactly. And
I'm the Silver Surfer. Give me your wallet and all of your ketamine. I know it's you, Moon Knight.
Everything works.
It works
so well with this show. And he was a character I didn't know anything about. I knew he existed, but I always thought he was just a Night Stalker kind of thing. Almost like how Blade, he like stalks villains in the night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I thought it was like not Vampire Blade with batons. That's what I thought. But fair. Now it's like, oh, he's a deity basically.
Essentially. Yeah.
From Norse mythology, or from Egyptian mythology. Which is, he was so well written, and all the characters, it was weird, but in a good way.
Yeah, we're in a good way.
So what would we rank this one?
I'm going to give it S because it's Moon Knight.
I cannot in good faith give it S.
That's fair. Like. There are things that are wrong with it.
There are some things wrong with it. Some of the writing is clunky. Mm. The action is incredible.
Very good, yeah.
So maybe I could swing for like bottom, if we put it at very bottom of S tier.
Very bottom of S. I'm good with that, yeah.
Because the action is amazing. Mm-hmm. The fight scenes that we see, and him using like the crescent things to fight with.
So cool.
Next. Venom.
Okay.
Other than the Eminem song that goes along with it, which some people have it at the bottom of their list of Eminem songs, some people have it like somewhere in the middle. No one has it at the top.
See, me personally, Kamikaze is probably one of my favorite Eminem albums. Not because of Venom, but it definitely adds to it.
Venom, the movie, my goodness.
Definitely better than Let There Be Carnage.
It's better than Let There Be Carnage. I would say A tier.
I would so too, yeah.
But just going off of that, the buddy cop dynamic, where it's like they hate each other. Mm-hmm. It's another thing where they learn to love each other.
Yeah.
No matter how much they're like, I want you to die. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna leave you so I can die. Because if you leave me, I'm dead. Mm-hmm. And the jokes work well.
They did.
Like the violence of it. The fact that Venom is just a violent person who just eats people's heads for fun. And because he has to. But for fun, it really brings the dark side to Marvel that we don't see a lot of.
And we need more of it.
We do need more. But technically, this is one of the Sony movies.
Yeah,
technically.
But he's in No Way Home.
He's technically in No Way Home.
So he's part of the Secret Timeline. We're including it.
We are including it. And I love how they did Tom Hardy as Venom, where he's like, I'm in this crazy world now, but when he's with Venom, he's just like, let's get this done. If we can help people, let's do it.
I really like that their duo, like when they're talking to each other, it makes
It's like an old married couple fighting.
Yeah, and it makes them slowly go crazy throughout the trilogy, I think. Or maybe especially throughout the first one. Like, it drives him insane. It makes other people think, this guy is insane. He needs help. I really like that.
Yeah. And I like how he still seems like he's scared of what is happening to him, because he's infected with this symbiote, and he's like, oh my god, what are you doing? Get out of my body. But then he takes advantage of it and is like, let's use this. If we're going to have to eat people's heads, let's at least eat the bad guys' heads. Let's help people. Yeah. And
my only complaint with it is that Venom is too goofy.
It's a little too goofy. There's too many jokes in it. It should have been darker. The fighting and action and CGI is incredible.
That was really good.
Especially at the end when there's that big fight with him and Riot and all of the other symbiotes. Yes. Really well done.
Really well done.
And
that's also an issue that I have with Let There Be Carnage.
There's not enough.
He just gets too goofy.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a goofy take, which I don't enjoy.
But it's okay.
That's actually all I have to say about Venom, because it's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember liking it. What If Season 1. This is the only season of What If we will be covering. Season 2 and 3 I have not seen.
I haven't seen them either.
I've seen part of Season 2 and it was okay, but nothing special. What If Season 1. It tells if you've ever seen, this is a horribly niche thing. If you've ever watched a VHS, those really weird paranormal the series, and it's like an anthology of sorts, where it is a collection of shorter films in one thing.
So it's sort of like the new Predator series.
Almost, where it's like each episode is a different story.
And then they come together in the end, which is something I actually really don't like about What If, honestly.
I do like that, actually. I think it's intriguing how throughout the series, the watcher grows more and more like, I'm okay to break the rules here. Mm-hmm. Like, I have to.
That's fair, but also, like, with the idea of What If, it's supposed to tell, like, different stories every single time. And the what ifs that they did, especially later on, awful.
Oh, really?
The ones in Season 1 are okay, but the ones in...
Well, we're only counting Season 1.
Yeah. Season 1, they're actually pretty good. Can we please stop getting Captain Carter stuff? That's all
I like Captain Carter, but it's overdone at this point. Overdone. The first time they did Captain Carter, incredible. Loved it.
Really good. Yeah, it was really good.
Then the second episode going into was...
I don't remember.
I can't remember what the second one is.
There's so much going on.
So many of them are so good.
They're really good, though.
The Doctor Strange episode, the zombie episode, the Black Widow episode is heartbreaking, and it's just... You're always just, are they going to do this? And if they do have a life after this, it's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, and despite hating the idea of them coming together in the end, I feel like it was executed really well.
It did work how they did it. And I thought it was fun how in the end Black Widow did eventually get her good ending.
Yeah.
And eventually did become kind of the hero. The second episode was the Black Panther.
Black
Panther Star Wars. I loved that one.
That was so good.
So many of the first season episodes were so good and so fun because they actually made sense to make them at least somewhat funny.
Yeah.
They aren't dark. They're like the Black Widow episode, it's the darkest of all of them, but there's still decent times for humor because of what the characters are and how close they are. And it makes you love the characters in a 20-minute episode, and then it brings them together for a short little fight at the end, which was incredible.
Really
and
good. Infinity Ultron is
terrifying,
really well written.
Yes. So I feel like I would put it A, but if you want to say B, I'm happy to put it like top of B.
I put it at top of B, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because there are issues to it.
Issues, yes.
Like how I think the weakest episode is probably the Killmonger episode, because I feel really bad for Tony. Yeah. I just feel really bad.
Tony dies so much.
He dies a lot in the series.
He dies in like every universe.
And like, what if the Avengers were killed? Like, that's insane. And then the Thor episode I think is kind of filler-y, and I don't like that Thor. But like,
not my Thor.
not my Thor. I like the Thor we got, and that's all I have to say about that.
Speaking of Thor.
Speaking of Thor. Segue out of 10.
Segue out of 10. Let's go.
The original Thor.
The original Thor. Okay. The Thor movies are very, very hit or miss. I think the first one's good.
Okay, good. Thank you. I have childhood memories of this movie.
This movie was really good.
This is the movie I've watched the most out of the MCU. And it is because when I was younger, my grandma had this downloaded on her iPad for flights.
Oh.
And I would watch it anytime we flew anywhere. And I remember, I love this movie. I think how in the beginning it's the same character evolution thing. At the beginning, he's a cocky jerk. He thinks he's better than everyone, and he's like, I'm going to kill these people, I'm going to ask questions later.
Yeah.
But it's not really warranted, because he's just killing for killing.
Mm-hmm.
Then throughout the movie, he loses his powers. Odin just zaps him away from him, because he doesn't deserve them, because he's being an asshat.
Who plays Odin again? I can never remember.
I can't think of his name, but he does such a good job. He does a legitimately great job.
I can't remember his name. He played the Pope in one movie, I think.
He played the Pope.
He did. And he played a character in the Transformers 5.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
But
Anthony Hopkins. He is such a good actor.
Anthony Hopkins, yep.
Such a good actor.
Such a great job. And I think it makes... It really shows that Thor is a flawed character.
Yes.
And then in the end, he steps up for the person he loves, for Jane. Opinions on her vary. It varies from day to day for me.
The girl that's in there from Two Broke Girls, I think.
What's her name?
I can't remember her name, but I know she has really good
That's
writing.
not the love interest, but
Not
she's
the love
funny.
interest. She's funny.
I love her. She was in a show that we will talk about eventually.
That's right.
The writing is amazing.
Writing is really
Especially the jokes, because it makes sense for Thor to be jokey.
Yeah.
Because he's funny. But it also does have the serious beats, where it's like, it really brings in the dilemma of, what do you do if your family is really messed up?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Loki is a horrible, horrible human being.
Horrible.
Human being. Frost giant.
He's adopted.
He's adopted. He's a horrible person.
Horrible.
But Thor does love him at heart.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a what do I do to regain my worthiness, but also how do I stand up to this?
Right, yeah.
And then in the end, he makes an ultimate sacrifice of his life. And then he destroys the Destroyer.
Which I think was...
Well done. I thought that was well done.
It was alright.
And then right at the end, after he goes up and he has the choice to either let Jotunheim be completely obliterated or save
Loki.
or give up the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Give up Jane. And he destroys the Bifrost and gives up Jane because he knows that destroying a planet that, sure, it's a violent planet, but it does have innocent people on it. Mm-hmm. He knows that's the right thing to do, and it shows the growth in his character.
And it was a very good decision.
And it's just good old-fashioned fun, too.
Good old-fashioned fun.
And it introduced Hawkeye as well as Thor.
It did introduce Hawkeye, yeah.
So it really helped to form the series into what it would become.
But it's definitely not as good as some other movies in Phase 1.
Especially that we've already talked about.
I want to put it in B tier.
I agree.
Okay.
I'd put it top of B tier above What If.
Above
I'd
What
put
If?
it
Yeah.
no, below. Because I think What If at least had the, like, it does have familiar characters, but it just shifts it. Whereas Thor does kind of have the, well, this is a new character for audiences. Mm-hmm. Spider-Man Far From Home.
I mean, this was not a bad movie.
I don't hate it as much as most people do.
Yeah,
I think it's fun.
It's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. Definitely not bad.
Hot take. C tier.
I was gonna say low B, but that works too.
And we can argue about this a little bit. If you want to move it up to B, we can argue. I think
We'll see.
a little bit of it is a little rushed. And I feel like the fact that, Nick Fury was a Skrull the whole time, and so was Maria, and, Mysterio just hates Tony Stark because he gave an acronym BARF, and he's actually just insane, and he thought people were laughing at him, when in reality they were laughing at Tony, not him.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was really crappy writing for how that worked.
They definitely did a 180 with Mysterio's character, because in the comics he's different. I'm pretty sure.
No, in the comics he's always a villain.
Like,
they
not
tried.
I mean, as in like Mysterio's like doesn't use like fake stuff.
Yeah, no,
like
he
uses
just
actual
he
magic.
does actually. What he does do with. He does it in a different way in the comics. Instead of using the drones, he uses a gas in comics and stuff.
Yeah.
And in most media, he uses like a gas that like you breathe in and it like makes you hallucinate.
So kind of like Scarecrow.
Kind of like Scarecrow from Batman, but he's more goofy, and he's also a. But in this, nobody fell for them thinking he was a good guy.
Yeah.
Come on, nobody was gonna fall for that.
Nobody.
That's
Yeah,
why I
I
put
do
it in
see
C tier, because you would have seen it coming if you knew anything about Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
That Mysterio is obviously going to be the big bad,
Oh.
and he's played by what's his face? I can't think of his name. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
The fact that thinking of Taylor Swift reminded me that that's Jake Gyllenhaal is a little embarrassing.
Jake Gyllenhaal is
He did
really
good with what he had, but I don't think Mysterio was well written at all. I
Ooh.
think the love story between Peter and MJ is cute. I think Night Monkey is a hilarious little joke to have going.
Night Monkey was funny, yeah.
And then there's the suit up, where he makes the suit in the back of the plane. Iconic, because the suit is awesome. But
overall, it just doesn't really stack up with the rest of the Spider-Man movies, at least in the MCU.
yeah, I think it's actually the worst Spider-Man movie we've ever gotten, in my opinion. But we'll get there.
We can.
I also just think some of the writing is a little iffy. Ned is still funny.
Ned's
And then the cliffhanger at the end is incredible. I will say, I will move it up to B, because the cliffhanger at the end
that cliffhanger was really good. Yeah.
incredible.
Incredibly.
And the what the F. What the and then it just cuts off. Incredible.
That was so good.
Yeah. They did that in both Spider-Man movies, actually. In Homecoming, it ended with Aunt May going,
Yes. What the? I wish they would have done that with No Way Home.
No, of course they couldn't though, because No Way Home is like a new chapter. We'll get there. Actually, we'll get there very soon.
Very
That's
soon.
actually pretty soon, I think. But it's not the best,
Not the best.
but it's also not the worst. Oh goodness,
Civil War is S tier.
Civil War is S tier. Civil War is like. I do we want to put these in order of like how we feel about them?
Nah. I mean,
Okay, we're still putting Civil War at the very top,
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
and I'm happy to.
I mean,
I actually
like,
do.
Civil
I like that.
War definitely deserves an S tier. I'm not saying that.
Oh, no,
I
it
think
deserves
that
S tier.
the writing was really well. Really good.
It was well written. The characters, it is a true dilemma. The one problem with it, they did it too early. They did not have.
There's always Civil War 2. They can always make like an Avengers
can.
Civil War.
That's why I think it's only called Captain America Civil War, not Avengers Civil War. Because Civil War happens after Thanos is defeated, and it's a huge moral debate on whether should these things go unchecked, which they did really well in the movie.
They did that really well. Yes.
And it had me on the edge of my seat the whole time thinking, Iron Man is terrified of what he has done in his life, and he feels horrible. But Captain America knows that we can't be owned by the government because they will work in their best interest, instead of helping the people.
Right. And the writing and the way it plays out really makes the debate between which side is right, like, actually, like, intense. I still see people fighting about which side was right.
Oh, yeah. The internet went crazy. And then there's Zemo. Baron Zemo pulling the strings from the background the whole time is incredible. And it's so well done how he is able to really make us feel like he has crumbled the Avengers. He destroyed them.
Completely destroyed them.
And then at the end, they all fight at the airport, the Germany airport scene. And of course, it introduced Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Didn't it also introduce Black Panther?
It did introduce Black Panther
That's
as
what I
well.
thought,
Yes.
yeah.
Introducing two of the best characters. We'll get there with
We'll get there in a second.
the two Black Panther movies. I don't want to cross that bridge right now.
We'll get to it.
It's so well done. So well written. And the action is incredible. I will say the one bad spot of writing is when Falcon dodges a laser that Vision shoots at him and it hits Rhodey and Rhodey breaks his back. That's not Falcon's fault. He would have been killed.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that is Vision's fault. That is common sense. You do not shoot at someone if there's a friendly who could get hit. That is Vision's fault. But otherwise, the writing is perfect. And the fact that Iron Man is still a selfishly flawed character at the end when Captain America is holding the shield above him and he thinks he's going to kill him by hitting him in the face, but he goes for the arc reactor, shows that he's only there for self-preservation.
Yeah.
Rather than what he thinks is right. Really good character growth. Or I guess shrinking.
Yeah.
But it works.
Speaking of Iron Man.
Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2. Hot take, S tier. I love this movie. This is one of my top 5 Marvel movies.
Not hot take, D tier. Goodness.
I love this movie.
I don't like the writing. I think the
writing.
They destroyed his character. They destroyed him as a character because he went back to being a selfish prick just because he's poisoned. So he's like, I'm gonna be a jerk. I'm gonna get drunk and I'm gonna hit my friend. No.
But that almost kind of makes sense. I mean, like, if you knew your end was coming, you'd feel distraught and, like, you wouldn't... It's not necessarily good that you would do those things, but, like, things like that would probably happen because you don't want to die.
I wouldn't hit my friends. I'd get drunk. I wouldn't hit my friends.
When did he hit his friend? I'm trying to remember.
Him and Rhodey.
Oh, yeah, him and Rhodey.
Then again, I also do think Rhodey was kind of poorly written. I think he's a little... He regresses his character too much. I think a little bit of, like, cockiness to him still would have been good. Because he was always cocky. But I think the amount that they still made him a selfish a-hole in that movie where he's still looking out for him, no one else.
Which is kind of fair. This is pre-Avengers.
It's pre-Avengers.
So he's still kind of in that mentality of, like... He's egotistical. He only thinks about himself because he has nobody else to think about.
But I don't like that. I think that in the first movie, they still had that air of, I'm going to help people. In the second movie, he's like, I'm going to help people because I have to. And it's going to make me look good. It's kind of where the first movie leaves off where, yeah, I'll help people. And then the second movie is like the other half of the statement that you like say under your breath, like, but I'll do it for myself. Not for them. I will say we can go at B tier. If you're okay with B tier, because we can meet in the middle. Also the villain. We're not gonna rush this. I hate the villain. I think Whiplash is so poorly written.
Okay, Whiplash is poorly written, but the other villain, he is really, really good.
Who's the other villain?
It's the guy.
Oh, Secretary guy.
Yeah.
I don't.
Hammer.
No, that's the third movie. Hammer is 3.
No, the third movie is... The guy
Hammer is 2, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't mind Hammer. He's okay. I just think Whiplash is horrible. And it introduces two more villains who just hate Tony.
Yes.
And that's the only reason they exist, because they hate him. We're up to 5 now.
Up to 5 now. It's crazy, but...
It's crazy.
That's
why I don't like the writing there. Just because... It makes him a shallow character. Like, he gets drunk, and when he's hungover, he goes and eats donuts. Like, come on. Randy's Donuts is iconic.
It is.
But the way he's acting, I hate it. And I hate seeing him like that.
This movie introduced the Natasha Romanoff.
It did. So that's why I'm giving it B tier.
Yeah.
Because it introduced Scarlett Johansson, which I do. Also, that's also part of the reason why I would have given it D tier. Like, I'll give it some leeway because that poor woman was sexualized so badly.
So much. But then again, it was like, late 2000s, early 2010s.
2010.
They did that with a lot of female actors at that time.
But it's still not okay.
It's not okay, but it
But they did introduce her, and they did show that she meant business, which I liked.
I like that.
Oh no. Captain Marvel.
C tier. I'm going with C, because...
I'm shocked we agreed on this.
Let's go!
I thought you were going to say, like, F tier.
No, it's definitely not F tier. No.
It is... The character... It's like Superman for me. He's too powerful.
He's too powerful. They nerfed her a lot in this movie, I think, but I mean...
But they did eventually make her find her power.
Yes, which was really well written.
But she's too cocky for me. She's like, I have this power. I don't know how to use all of it, but I'm better than you. I hate how that's written.
I think
I think the jokes are funny.
I think that almost boils down to Brie Larson as a person.
Yeah, I don't like Brie Larson.
Something that I did enjoy about this movie was that, at least with how it was written at the time, you actually believed that the Skrulls were the good guys and the Kree were the bad guys. But then
the other way around. The Kree were the good guys is what they thought, and the Skrull were bad. But then at the end, we figured out.
That's what I mean. Like, at the end, you think that the Skrull are the good guys until you get to Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Which I haven't watched.
Neither have I.
But it's
Secret Invasion. Secret Wars is in another
Secret Wars
year.
is coming up, yeah.
2 years, because Doom is coming out next.
Oh, that's going to be hype. But I really like that they did that. I really like that they did that to, like, make the audience think, oh, wait, this isn't from the comics. What the heck? They're really messing stuff up. But, like, it almost kind of makes sense, because you almost... The Skrulls are so good at, like... Damn. At manipulating from the inside out that you can almost believe them regardless of if they're shape-shifting or not.
And it does introduce Ronan. It gives Ronan a backstory of, like, he led the Kree before he went kind of insane.
Yeah.
And then it gave Nick Fury a backstory on how he lost his eye to the Florkin. Come on. That's incredible. And it sets up for Monica, who comes along later. And it sets up so many things in the future, and it makes it roll off so much easier. Mm-hmm. Especially when going into Endgame from Infinity War.
That was a very bold decision to do that.
Because they released this before Infinity War.
No, but it was before Endgame.
Or before Endgame, after Infinity War. Mm-hmm. But people saw Nick Fury click the button at the end of Infinity War.
So, I mean, I guess it's fair, but also, it would have been really cool to, like, not have this movie come out when it did, then have Endgame
make it come out before Infinity War. I think it should have come out before Infinity War, so that then we're like, where is she?
Right.
So you could think.
Yeah. I also think it'd be cool to have it come out after Endgame, so that after the Infinity War post-credit, you see that, you're like, who the fuck is this? Endgame, she appears for the first time, and then we get to, we're introduced to the character, and then we get to dive more into them, almost. Yes. I feel like that kind of makes a little bit of sense. Yeah. But that's just my thinking.
But it's a fun movie. It gives good 80s aesthetic. Blockbuster's a thing.
Radio
Shack's a thing. Like, come on, that's classic.
I wasn't born in the 80s, but I wish I was.
I just want to go back to the 80s for a week.
Me too. Ant-Man and the Wasp, another movie that came out before.
Oh, wait, going back to Captain Marvel, the villain sucked.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I thought the villain was horrible.
It was really bad.
But,
that's probably one of the main reasons it's seen.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, the first one, or the
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
The original Ant-Man and the Wasp. It is a no-stakes movie.
No stakes.
Which is why I enjoyed it as much as I did. I don't think the writing is all that grand. And I think there are some good jokes in there, like the coming home from school because the suit got messed up. And it builds well off of Civil War.
It does, yeah.
But there's no stakes to it.
No stakes to it.
Like, the villain is a gun runner.
Ghost sucks.
Ghost sucked.
Sucked.
Oh wait, you haven't seen Thunderbolt.
I've seen enough of it to know.
I'm going to not spoil Thunderbolt.
She was barely in any of the promotional material. Everybody knew she was gonna die.
That was Taskmaster.
Oh shit, wrong person.
Spoilers.
Oops.
Ghost is actually not very well written in this movie, I agree. Mm-hmm. But I would personally give it B tier. But if you think it should go lower, it can, because I can be swayed.
I'd put it in C tier, honestly.
I think it's fun. It is a very fun movie. It showcases what Ant-Man can do, especially with the Wasp. And it showcases their, love dynamic and their love story a little more. But it also has zero stakes, which is what I don't like.
Yeah.
I think for Ant-Man, the fact that he should be going up against classic Ant-Man villains, like Yellow Jacket or whatever his name was.
Yeah, Yellow Jacket. That was a good one.
And also it was just a bland action comedy, whereas the first one was a freaking heist movie, which is incredible. Heist is one of my favorite genres, subgenres, I guess. And I just can't. I don't like it.
Have you seen Now You See Me?
I have not actually.
That's a really good heist movie. It's so fucking fun.
But I don't like how small the stakes are, and it's very forgettable. I actually don't remember a lot about this movie, other than some of the good jokes and some decent action.
Yeah, same here.
Next,
Doctor Strange. I want to give it a B tier. I'm gonna be honest.
I would give it S, but do you?
We can compromise with an A.
I love Doctor Strange.
I think Doctor Strange is very much very well.
It is Benedict Cumberbatch. Unlike with Iron Man, where he's like cocky, but he's like, I'm cocky for no reason as a superhero. He's cocky as a surgeon, but he deserves to be cocky as a surgeon because he actually does have good surgery skills.
He is really good at his
But then
job.
it's the same thing with Iron Man. Disaster strikes, except instead of being kidnapped, he gets his hand gets destroyed. And then it really does take that turn into a magical movie where he's trying everything. He's desperate. He's scared. But then he goes to Kamartaj and finds everything that he was looking for.
Yeah.
And he starts by not believing it, and it really humbles him. It's a good movie. It's almost like a coming of age, but in like reverse. Where he has to, instead of finding his confidence, he has to be humbled by it. And he learns his lesson throughout the movie of like, I shouldn't be such a douche. I should be a nice person.
Yeah.
Obviously,
yeah.
But then he learns that through this world of like Caecilius and Dormammu and the Time Stone, this movie is very dear to my heart for many reasons. But it shows that there is a gray line. That's a major thing in it too. Would you agree?
I'd agree with that. Yeah, I really like how they sort of handled the magic in the movie.
They made it look incredible.
It would look so good.
It looked good.
This era of Marvel, in my opinion, was peak. Like the CGI, the writing, the performances, the music. As a sucker for music, of course, it's gonna be. Yeah. But yeah, that's fair.
I will also just say that he learns the gray line with the Time Stone. He's like, this is an amazing power, but it does bad. And then the Ancient One is drawing power from evil to stay alive longer because she's terrified to die. And it shows that gray line that do you cross it, and it really shows that it's not a line. There's a lot of gray. It's not just a line that you cross. And also, Dormammu, it's time to bargain.
Peak
lining, and yeah.
Peak writing, my goodness.
Guardians 2.
No, that's
Guardians 1.
I think it's the weakest of the Guardians trilogy, but it's still good.
Suck my balls.
It's still good. I'm just going to say that.
S tier. I love Guardians 1.
I don't actually remember it that well.
Okay, you know what?
Ronan was the villain. Oh, wait.
Ronan is a weak villain, in my opinion.
Ronan is a weak villain.
But I love...
The ending was good. The dance-off scene was really fun at the end.
Everything is so good.
I love when Marvel makes movies about characters coming together and, like, forming a team. They do that really well. I will give them that.
Yeah. It shows that even with the Avengers, it had that family aspect. But they were already people who had their groups. This takes a bunch of people who they knew no home, they knew no love, and they gave them a place to be loved. And it's funny, at the end he gives the troll to Yondu instead of the Power Stone, and he's like, we gotta go hide this with the Nova Corps.
Yondu
he
is
does
such
what's
a
right.
good character.
I love Yondu. I love Michael Rooker.
God, he's
Michael
such a good
Rooker
actor.
has my heart.
So good.
And all of the characters are written so well, and it shows that all of these misfits, they don't belong somewhere. They can find love and a home in each other. And the We Are Groot at the end, it just solidifies the family aspect, and it sadly kills Groot. Kills Groot
in quotations. I'm fine with putting this at A, honestly. I was originally going to put it at B, but I'm fine with putting this at A.
Okay. We're going to go a little faster through these because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
I'm not even debating. Captain America Winter Soldier
is S tier.
We're not even going to talk about this one. Watch the movie.
Go watch it.
Go watch the movie.
Peak choreography. Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Do you agree?
C is fair. Yeah, C is fair.
I loved it. I thought it was better than most people did.
Yeah,
But
it
it was a little clunky. And also, I hate John Walker. I hate John Walker
He is one
in
of those
this.
characters that you can love to hate.
And also, some of it is a little clunky. The storytelling is clunky. The villains aren't very good. And Sharon is there for some reason. I actually never understood why Sharon Carter was put in it. Probably because of the connection to Steve, but I mean, we don't care. Steve is dead.
We never really
actually, he's
care
not
about
dead.
Sharon Carter, I'm going to be honest. You know he did.
No. But I thought it was a fun show, and it showcased a good passing of the torch and the ambiguity of should I give this to should I let Steve's name live on, or should I take up that mantle and do what's right?
It also kind of does a lot of stuff with sort of like, how am I going to word this?
Racism.
Yes, racism. Deals with being an African American in the United States of America.
And in the military.
Because
the one, I can't think of his name.
The
old super soldier was tested and he was tortured. And it
was
shows
a lot.
all of the horrible things that happened just because of who he was. And it does build off of that really well, in my opinion, thinking that, it is an issue.
I
and
agree.
It then later leads into Bucky running for senator near the end of the show.
But we can get into that.
We'll get into that with Brave New World.
But that's one of the things I liked about the movie.
And it does have a good, again, aspect of where Sam is looking out for his family, but they hate each other. But they have to work together for what it is.
It's so good.
Loki Season 1. This is also the only season of Loki we'll be going over.
Because I haven't seen
Neither have I.
Season 2. But it was good.
Where we put... Personally, I'd say A tier.
Yeah,
I
agree with
really
that.
enjoyed it. It was funny, because Loki's a funny character.
Funny guy.
But it also carried stakes. It introduced what was going to be Kang, and then
Rest
the
in
one
peace,
guy
Kang.
just assaulted someone.
Yeah, he did a lot of messed up things. Rest in peace, Kang.
Yeah.
I
Beaten
really
by Ant-Man. Spoilers.
Bro,
He got
Kang
beaten
is
up
such
by
a
Ant-Man.
good character
In comics.
concept and in comics, but they had no choice but to fumble Kang.
They didn't, because they can't keep that guy
We'll get
around.
to that later.
But it was a fun show about what happens in time.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when you screw with the timeline so much you do something you're not supposed to.
Yep.
And it really builds off the end game thing where it's like, that's not how time works.
Yeah.
You can't go back to the past, kill baby Thanos, and just expect everything to change. It's not how it works.
Not how it works.
And it goes off of that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And Loki's a good character. Sylvie was lusted after a bit too hard, in my opinion.
Yeah.
People like her a little too much. But what do you think about Loki?
I don't remember it that well because I watched it like a really long time ago. But from what I do remember, I was a little confused throughout like some parts of the time traveling stuff. But other than that, it was like they handled the time travel really well, which not a lot of time travel related stuff can do. I think Back to the Future does it really well. Loki does it really well.
Hot Tub Time Machine. I actually have never seen Hot Tub Time
Never
Machine.
seen that. Heard good things about it. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure when they had the time travel movie. It was handled okay, but
We're going to go and rapid fire some F tiers, or some low tiers real quick. Just to get through them, because I don't have much to say about these. Morbius,
F tier. Yes.
tier.
I saw that.
Eternals, I actually
I'd put
haven't
it in
seen.
D.
I'd put it in D. I fell asleep watching it. I was bored.
Let's see here.
That's all I can say about that one.
Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3. D tier. Is C tier? B tier?
F.
F tier?
F. It's bad. It's really.
Okay, you know
Well,
what?
the way they handle Venom is awful. Okay, D.
D.
Is fair. Yeah.
Because I have fun with it, and
a fun
Sandman
game.
is at least a decent villain.
Sandman is like one of those.
Thor: Love and Thunder, F
F.
tier. It's funny-ish sometimes.
He's right behind me, isn't he? They literally used that joke.
They
It's
did.
So dumb.
It was awful.
She-Hulk is F.
She-Hulk, F. Well, we aren't putting that
we're
on
not
here.
putting that on here, right,
We're
right.
cutting it off right here, actually.
This
is where we cut off, I think.
Oh,
Wait, did I mess it up?
No,
we
you're right,
didn't.
you're right,
Okay.
you're right.
Quantumania, F. I don't think he's seen this one.
I haven't.
It
but
was
I've heard
funny-ish. It was artificially funny. It was artificially fun. The story was horrible.
And they fumbled Kang, which they had to. They fumbled MODOK, from what I hear.
And now, do we just want to finish off Spider-Man right now? Do all 3 of the next Spider-Man movies?
Let's just do the Spider-Man movies.
And I feel like we should actually round off one more that I have not seen, Werewolf by Night. And I'm going to leave this one fully up to him, because I have not seen it.
Werewolf by Night is really, really good. I loved it. It's admittedly not the best Marvel project. I'll probably put it in B.
Alright, is that all you want to say about it? Because I haven't seen it.
Ooh. It's actually kind of scary.
Is it just about a werewolf, or who's it about?
I don't remember it that well. It's like, it kind of deals with a werewolf. Shit, I need to look up a plot synopsis.
No, that's fine.
You keep going on about something.
Let's do
I swear I've seen this. I just don't remember it.
So Spider-Man. The ones we have left are Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man No Way Home, and The Amazing Spider-Man. Let's start with the weakest out of these, in my opinion.
Amazing Spider-Man, yeah.
I'd give it a B tier. High B tier, maybe A tier.
I haven't seen it, so I wouldn't know.
I'll give it a high B tier. Okay. It's fun. I think it is actually very good for what Andrew Garfield does. It still shows that Peter Parker struggles as a person. He is, like, horribly just... He's underpaid, he doesn't make a lot of money, and he's struggling in life. And he's in high school.
Yeah.
But he also wants to help people. And Kurt Connor's Lizard is an amazing villain. And he was just incredible. And the scene where he's swinging through the all of the cranes, iconic. But other than that, it's forgettable. I don't remember a lot other than that.
I'm real quick going to read off the synopsis of Werewolf by Night. On a dark and somber night, a secret cabal of monster hunters emerge from the shadows and gather at the foreboding Bloodstone Temple following the death of their leader. In a strange and macabre memorial of the leader's life, the attendees are thrust into a mysteriously and deadly competition of a powerful... yes, I remember this now. A powerful relic, a hunt that will ultimately bring them face to face with a dangerous monster, aka the Werewolf by Night. I remember that. That was... The lead up to the Werewolf by Night was phenomenal. And something I really liked about it is that it was black and white throughout all of the movie.
Really?
Except for the very ending, where they escape from the hunters. That was really well written. Also, the monster at the end, the werewolf guy, and the
Hold up. Black Panther isn't on this.
Why is none of them?
The original Black Panther is not on this. That's sad. We'll put it in there.
I'll find a picture of it and throw it in there.
Let's talk about Spider-Man 1.
A tier.
A tier. It is a great introduction to the characters for people who don't know him. Tobey Maguire does a great job acting as that a nerdy kid who just, with great power comes great responsibility. It comes up so much throughout the movie.
So much, yes.
And he takes on that mantle. Yeah. And he does it with pride. And he knows, if no one's going to do this, I will. And he does it. But
I loved it.
Also, absolutely. Green Goblin, iconic.
You know, I'm something of a scientist. I'm something of a genius myself.
There's the iconic joke of, we're going to have a wild time, of him, like, on the wall, and he's going, woo! And all that. That edit. It's iconic. This movie is incredible.
Oh, you can't do this to me. You know how much I sacrifice? I love Willem Dafoe. The Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies are so good.
Speaking of Sam Raimi, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This is another one that I defend with my life.
What do you think of it?
I think it's B tier. I don't think it's as good as the original Doctor Strange, but I do still rate it higher than what most people do.
I would put it at... B tier is fair. I saw that movie with a bunch of my friends. We came out of it. It actually had us thinking about the multiverse, like what all it entails. It makes you think. I wish they did more with the multiverse, though, aside from 838 and 616 and like a couple like montages of other things. I wish they did more.
Yeah.
And Wanda, she was... Okay,
such a tragic villain to me because I loved her as a hero,
she had valid reasons to be a villain.
But I don't know. Don't try to murder a child.
Don't try murdering children, and don't try murdering their parents in another universe.
Yeah.
And she's not dead. There's no way.
No, I refuse to believe she's dead. She's actually confirmed to be coming back for Doomsday.
Oh, thank God. I was
maybe as a variant, though, from the multiverse.
If it's a variant, I'm going
okay
to be
with it.
very angry because there's no way that she died.
A building falling on her.
There's no way. She is like one of the most powerful, not magicians, but one of the most powerful beings.
Magic users.
Yeah, magic users in the MCU. There's no way that a fucking building will kill her.
Yeah,
I'm
refused.
sorry. Yeah.
Okay, let's finish out another trilogy here with Iron Man 3.
The weakest of the Iron Man in my... It's still
I love
okay.
Iron Man 3.
It's weak, but it's still good. I like it.
I love Iron Man 3. I think it's interesting seeing Tony's struggle. How he has now seen aliens invade Earth. He has faced death. He went into space thinking he would die. And he came back from it. And he was terrified.
I think his PTSD was really well.
He built 45 suits because of it. And it just shows how terrified he was. And I love that idea that he's just scared. And that's there as a placeholder. How he's just terrified of the world now. And what it does to a person facing death and thinking, I need to protect the person I love the most, which is Pepper. And Harley is a good character. I think he's fun as a kid, especially as like a kid sidekick. A lot of movies can't get that right. Iron Man 3 did. And then he randomly showed up again at the end of Endgame, but whatever.
That was good. It was nice to see that storyline sort of conclude with him.
And it does a good job of like, it does a good I'm stranded type thing. Where it's like, I'm stranded and I need to find my way back to help this person.
Yeah, that was
The Mandarin is a weak story, and I won't lie about that. And the villains are overall just really underwhelming. But the main plot outside of it is incredible.
Really?
And I wish they had a better villain, but otherwise, I think this movie, if it weren't for the villains, it would be A tier.
See, for me, it goes SSA. Because Iron Man obviously peaked. Iron Man 2, I love that movie with my heart. And then Iron Man 3 is weak in the sense of like an Iron Man movie. So it's still good.
And the ending is incredible.
The ending
I feel
is
like
really
I should mention.
Yeah. But also something I didn't really like about it is that it ends with him like not necessarily like giving up, throwing the arc reactor out and sort of giving up, and we're like, oh, he's done with this. He's done being Iron Man, and then he comes back in fucking Age of Ultron as Iron Man. Like, then what's the point of the ending? That's the only thing that
I agree. So I'll keep it at A, actually. I'll be lenient with it.
I'm good with that.
WandaVision. Have you seen WandaVision?
I've seen WandaVision, yeah.
I love sitcoms.
It's a lot of
the first 5 episodes are sitcom mixed with sci-fi,
yes,
which I love. The sitcom part is incredible to me. The sci-fi part is really fun. It brings back the chick from Thor, Darcy
yes.
Lewis.
We
love her.
Darcy.
I love Darcy, and she's like a main character in this. I'd have to give it A. Because I think, though the ending is a little questionable.
That's the main thing that's kind of pushing it down to B for me, because the ending is strange. It's well introducing the Scarlet Witch, I will admit that.
And I do like that it also introduced Monica Rambeau the one chick as a character, and then
her kids too were another like interesting.
They were fun.
They were fine.
We're not
the White Vision. Oh my gosh,
White Vision.
I love the story of the White Vision.
It ties the Fox trilogy into it. With a little joke. The Quicksilver.
Yes. Okay.
Ralph Bohner, or whatever his name. Bohner YouTube.
We're not talking about
No. Like, that is meant to be the Fox Quicksilver.
Yes.
Because they got the same actor from the Fox series to do it. And
that was really
And
fun.
they did it in sitcom style, where when he comes in, everybody claps. Which I love sitcoms.
Yeah.
I'd give it A, but if you think top of B, then we can do top of B.
Top of B.
Okay. No Way Home.
S. Not up for debate.
Again, go watch the movie. This is one we don't need to explain. Just watch the freaking movie.
It is a little bit feature carried, but it's still really well.
But the story
written
is good.
And
I also think Doctor Strange is kind of stupid in it, but it's okay. Ant-Man, the original.
I'd give it a B.
I'd give it S. I love Ant-Man. I love heist movies. I want to compromise at A.
We'll compromise it.
I love the heist movie aspect. I love how he's just trying to get some money, and he's really just trying to be there for his kid at the beginning.
Yeah,
but then he gets thrown into this world of I'm shrinking and I'm going to die. And then he tries to run from it and he gets caught, and then he eventually has to fall back into that life of crime for good reasons to really help people, and he becomes a hero because of it.
Yeah.
All of the characters are fun. Cassie is adorable.
She's adorable, yeah.
And all three. In
I don't
the first
mean
two Ant-Man, she is adorable as just a fun-loving kid character who doesn't think there's anything wrong with her dad, even though he's in prison.
Yeah, and yeah, that's like something I can really appreciate
Louis.
about it.
Louis. Louis.
Oh yeah, Louis.
Luis.
His story.
Yeah,
is so fucking
my mom,
funny.
my mom died, and my dad got deported, and my brother was shot, but I got the van. Greatest.
I love Louis.
And the honk, that's funny.
And of course his storytelling, the way he tells stories, like.
There was one dude who had this one chick who had this really rich uncle or whatever. I don't even know.
I don't even remember it, but it's so fun.
I love it. The ending is incredible. How it does end up good, and it's a heist.
Yeah.
Heists are awesome.
The
The one thing I really don't like about this movie is Hope's haircut. Anyways,
that's
Shang-Chi.
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 I've always pronounced it Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
That's how they say it in the movie, isn't it?
No, they say Shang. They say Shang-Chi because his name is Sean.
I am so sorry, man. Whoever plays Shang-Chi, I'm so sorry. I've been saying it's Shang-Chi for the longest time. I thought that's how you said it. I'm so sorry. But I love you as an actor.
I have issues with this movie. The first 3/4 of this movie, perfect action. It is well thought. There is a little bit of magic in there, but it is well done.
Yes.
It is mostly just one of those like movies where it really features martial arts and good
Yes,
fighting,
I love that.
even at a high stakes. And then the end goes full sci-fi with dragons.
But it almost makes sense with the Legend of the Ten Rings.
But I'd prefer if it hadn't done that, and it is simply because I liked the hand-to-hand combat, how it was just like them fighting, but then they use magical staffs and they just fling the rings around. When it's another one of those things where they have to buff the rings in later movies because we don't know how powerful they are.
Right. Yeah. I think the way that they used the Ten Rings was really good. I will admit that, and aside from that, all the other martial arts that they used was so
The
incredible.
martial arts was incredible.
The choreography
And Wen
of that movie
Wu,
was so good.
the actual Mandarin, it pulls back the Mandarin from Iron Man 3 into a good way, in a really good way. How he's just this comedic guy who's got kidnapped because he impersonated someone who he didn't think was actually real.
Yeah.
He's funny.
He's funny.
And it's incredible.
But Wen Wu is phenomenally written, and honestly, I'd be fine with wherever you want to put it.
Black Panther is on here. I just
there it
missed
is.
it because
Okay.
it's in between a bunch of the Avengers movies.
I was about to say. But
Let's get the tiers over with now. Both Black Panther movies. The first Black Panther, S tier.
S tier, yeah.
I'm not debating it.
Not
Go watch it.
debating that
Again,
one.
I'm not talking about it.
And Wakanda Forever, it's meant to be a good thing, but it just falls flat on its face. I'm going F.
It is a movie that got heavily messed up by the circumstances.
Yeah. And
I
honestly,
cannot give it F in good faith for Chadwick Boseman, though.
I know.
Lowest I can do is C, because it's a send-off, and it needed to be. It's what it needed to be given the circumstances.
Yeah, it's a good send-off. I appreciate that of it, but the way that they wrote Riri Williams and Namor, Ironheart, and Namor, I think was poorly written. I think Riri was terrible, and
Full compromise at D.
And I think introducing T'Challa Jr., I think was his name at the end.
Yeah, I thought that was good. I really liked
I didn't
that.
like that, actually. I think that was
really
a
liked
stain on Chadwick Boseman's
There was
career.
originally supposed to be, whenever he was going to be in it, a scene where, like, it was confirmed that the girlfriend was pregnant.
But in the
And
comics, is
all
his
that.
kid named...
Yeah, it's named T'Challa after he died.
I take that back. Okay. For the longest time, that was one of my main complaints about... I'm still going to throw it in D tier, but that was one of my main complaints.
Well, since I would say B tier normally, we'll throw it at C tier.
Okay.
So we can meet in the middle still, because I needed the send off.
It was a good send off.
It was personal to me, the send off that it needed.
We love each other both, and
Rest in
it's
peace.
incredible that he went through all of that
While
and
still being
was one of the best actors of all time. Ever.
Okay. Let's go for another questionable one. Black Widow. Not questionable because of my opinions on it, but questionable because hot take.
I'm gonna go D.
I would put it B, so let's go C. The
think
CGI is horrible,
they fucked up Taskmaster.
but the first 2/3 of the movie are perfect spy movie material. The last third of the movie is what messes it up. It went too big. It should have stayed almost, not necessarily street level, because the Red Room is never going to be street level. But it shouldn't have gone full on floating base falling from the sky sword fighting.
No, because I don't think that's what the Red Room was supposed to be.
No, it's not. It's meant to be secret, not in the sky.
Not in the sky.
But I did enjoy the sisterly bond
I
that it
enjoyed
gave
that.
to.
That was fun.
Seeing Thunderbolts did boost it for me. Originally, I would have put it D, but I saw Thunderbolts and what it did for Yelena. But I have to give it C just because the fighting is so good for the first 2/3 of the movie, and then the third act screws it up so bad.
The third act screws it up. I think the writing was just not great. I think this movie went through so many rewrites and
It did.
so much.
It was a mess in the writing room.
Same with another movie that we're going to talk about later. But
Yes, we can talk about it right now. Segue out of 20.
Yeah.
10.
Brave New World.
Brave New World.
Definitely the weakest of the Captain America movies. I'd probably give it, but it's still good nonetheless. I'd probably give it a C.
I would give it C, high C.
High C.
Because I thought
really
it was
like
fun.
that they incorporated like superhero stuff, like superheroes in politics, and sort of like relating it all to
That was a magnet.
President Ford's calling him President Ford.
Ford.
That's
Yeah, that's not his
presidency.
name,
It's not.
It's Henry
President
Ford.
Ross's.
It's Henry Ford, so it's okay because I love Henry
It's a
Ford.
President Ross's.
Chauncey's still kicking.
Yeah, I know,
He's
it's crazy.
old, but
But tying it into President Ross's presidency, like all the superhero stuff, was really good. Unfortunately, this thing went through so many rewrites.
it did.
It comes to a point, like...
The Celestial is in the ocean.
Yeah, it comes to a point where, like, you can't even tell what story it's trying to tell at certain parts.
Yeah.
But the choreography
messy.
is okay. The
I liked
writing
it.
is decent. This is what they had. And
I like the
I
new
think-
sidekick. I like Sam's side, the new Falcon.
I think the new
really
Falcon's
like it.
okay.
And I like
just
that it's set up that he's making a new Avengers.
I did like that.
Especially with... I can't spoil it. With Thunderbolts, I'm just going to rank it and end. Just so you know, with Thunderbolts, because...
I'm going to go strictly off what you say, because...
I'm not even going to spoil it for you.
I'm going to talk about one thing about it that I think is a little iffy, but that's not the movie's decision. Well, then it's kind of the movie's decision, but...
We'll get to it.
We'll get to
across
it.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Red Hulk is fun. He's a fun ending villain.
I think the way that they handled him calming down was dumb.
I don't think it is, because his daughter was a huge motivation for him throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, but also, like, he's the Red Hulk. He's one of the most powerful Hulks ever, and you're just going to calm him down by talking to him. I was half expecting him to just crush the shit out of him and, like, have his bones flying everywhere. Like, Sam's.
Yeah.
Having his bones flying everywhere.
Next, we're going to reel off 3 more S tiers right now. And we're not going to explain them. Thor Ragnarok, Avengers Endgame, and Avengers Infinity War.
About Endgame, I think it's good. It's really good. Really good, don't get me wrong. But people glaze it as S tier just because of the last third, whereas everything else beforehand was essentially just a nostalgia trip.
No,
but it's still good. I'll give it an A.
I have to glaze it for S. The emotions. The last time I cried at a movie before I watched this was when I was 6. I was 13. No, I was 12 when this came out. Because it came out 2019.
I remember Endgame very vividly.
I cried.
What had happened? I got out of class. I went straight home, and I waited for my friend to get out of school because he went to a different school, and we rushed to the theater the moment he got out with my grandma. and met my mom and some other people there. We sat there and we watched it. And I will admit, at the time, I thought it was an S tier. But sort of looking back onto it, at least with me, it just felt like a giant nostalgia trip for all of the people that had been there for the past 10 years. Just giving them essentially what they want, which is a lot of what Marvel has done recently. But that's
I liked it,
side
though.
point. I did like it. I do like it. It's definitely one
The
of the best
lowest
films.
I will go is the very bottom of S.
I'm
Very bottom.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Let's reel off another group of movies. Deadpool's. I actually have only seen half of Deadpool 2. I lied when I said I've seen all of Deadpool 2.
Is
I think, isn't it like the weakest one?
I
from
say
what
it's the
heard?
weakest one, but I put it at like an A.
A, okay, so
And
A.
the other two.
We don't even have to guess where Deadpool 1 and 3 are going.
Deadpool 1 and 3, 100% giving it S tier.
Bye. That was a staple in my life from the moment I knew what music was. My mom has seen NSYNC in concert, front row, 7 times in her life.
She is a lucky woman.
She loves them. So whenever it came on and we heard that from that opening note, we were there with a few of my friends. I leaned forward and this is what we did. We looked at each other and we were grinning so big and I sang in the movie. I felt ridiculous.
That movie had me yelling whenever Johnny Storm came out.
I was like,
Avengers us a flame on! What?
the I actually said what the And I was sitting right next to my friend's dad, and he's like super religious. It was like, he looked over at me, and I was like, don't ask. Actually, he didn't care because he didn't know I cussed. But either way. We don't have to explain
You don't have
Deadpool
to
1.
explain that one, that was good.
Guardians 2 and 3.
Guardians 3 is 100% S tier.
Yep.
Kind of like with you and Endgame, I cried watching this movie.
So
And
did
I was like,
actually.
I was like 18 when I saw this, and I still cried.
Guardians 2.
A.
I would agree. I think it's actually underrated.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
I
as
would
bad as
agree.
people say it is. It's funny. Yondu's sacrifice is incredible and all that.
It is, yeah. I appreciate it.
We're saving Thunderbolts for last. Let's reel off another F tier, or supposed F tier. Dark World.
F. Yeah, Thor the Dark World. It's
I actually disagree. I think it's a D tier. It's forgettable, but it's not poorly written like all the other F tiers.
okay. Yeah, that's fair. Like, it's forgettable. Like, you watch it back and you're like, there are things wrong with this, but like, it's a fun bad movie.
It's not actually horrible.
Not that.
Hawkeye.
Okay. Like, it's okay.
It's okay. It's the definition of like, I don't know, C tier. Definition of high C tier.
Yeah, high C tier.
There are some things in it that were stupid, but I did really like all the characters, and it built off Yelena more. Third to last movie, the first Avenger, Captain America.
I'm gonna put that in A tier. It's the weakest of the Steve Rogers Captain America movies.
Yeah, but those are like
but
top
they're
tier.
still top tier nonetheless.
Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Weak. You're gonna throw that.
I throw it in A tier. I think it's underrated. I really liked some of the decisions they did. I liked all the decisions that they did with how Wanda ended up being a hero, and so did Quicksilver. And I really liked it. I thought it was actually really good, and it really did lead into Civil War incredibly well.
It did that really well, but the writing, I think, was not that great. I mean, admittedly, there were things that I did like about it. I will admit. Things I did like.
That look a little better to you?
I personally would put it in D.
Okay.
I'd put it in D.
We'll throw it bottom of B then, so we
Bottom
can
of
kind of
B.
meet in the middle.
Okay, yeah.
Because I really like it. I think Ultron is underused, but I think it's fun.
I think Ultron is really...
And there's some really
Poorly written.
cool moments, too.
There are cool moments. I just think he's poorly.
I need you to close your eyes, Ben. Thunderbolts.
I've heard good things about this movie. I've been trying to watch... I've been meaning to watch it for so long.
Open.
Forgot to go to the theaters.
Look for it. I am not taking my statement back that it is S tier.
My one complaint, which is not even a complaint because it's probably going to happen later on, but I think the Thunderbolts should be the Dark Avengers. Honestly, it would just make more sense with their background and their
Understandable.
and who they are.
Do you know, like, what all do you know about the movie?
I know that Taskmaster dies. I know that Sentry in the Void, they essentially get rid of the Void through the power of friendship, which I think it's dumb.
No, if you watch
like,
it works.
But
It's
I've
not the
heard
power
it-
of friendship.
I think it's dumb, but I think
different.
from what I've heard, it works really well. So I'm not complaining about that. I know that they become the new Avengers.
Okay, I'm not calling it Thunderbolts anymore. This is an Avengers movie now. I'm counting it as such. It is the third best Avengers movie. Or it's the second best Avengers movie.
Whoa.
After Infinity War. It's better than Endgame, not as good as Infinity War.
I haven't watched it, so I wouldn't know.
You're gonna watch it as soon as possible.
As soon as I can, yes.
I came as close to crying as you could get without crying. Because all of these characters... I can't spoil it. After he watches it, we will make a full spoiler review of it, though.
Great idea. Yep.
Because I actually have not come into a theater and then walked out of a theater feeling so connected to a movie with a lot of the dark subject matter they do end up going into. It feels real.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like that's what it needed to be. Anyways, that is our full list. We do have some movies here that we can just talk about briefly. Daredevil, these are all TV shows. Daredevil, Miss Marvel, Defenders, Iron Fist, Punisher, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, She-Hulk, the I Am Groot series, Marvel Legends, Secret Invasion, Loki, What If, Echo.
Oh, wait.
X-Men.
The Marvels.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, wait. I haven't seen it either.
Let's
haven't watched.
Haven't watched, yeah. And then the rest of these aren't really MCU. Some of them are, but none of us have seen them, and I don't care enough to put them on the list. And then there's the Fox X-Men trilogy, which is really, or not trilogy, like the there's a lot. It's really good, but we haven't seen them, so we don't have the stuff to rank them. So if that is all, I believe we can wrap this up here.
We can definitely wrap this up. Madam Web is dog shit. I just saw that on here. Madam Web is dog shit.
Okay, yeah.
Dog.
Put
It's
that
not part of the MCU or anything. It's one of the stupid silly.
Here, I'll put some of the things that I know are F tier in the F tier, just because I think it's funny to diss on the bad things.
Okay, I like the 2015 Fantastic Four.
I don't know which one. Oh, is that
Yeah.
one? Okay, then we'll just move that one
I
back.
kind of like that one.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys very
so
much.
for watching. This is one of our longer episodes.
But it makes sense.
I am throwing the ones that I have seen a little bit of up there.
You put Miss Marvel in D?
Yeah, it's not as bad as people say it is.
There.
But yeah, that is all. So I
That is all I
believe
got.
we can say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was violent.